to know today. So maybe a question for you, Alke. What will be the impact of better nutrition on animal health and climate change, mitigation, adaptation, and resilience? Because in the recent past, we're talking about resilience. How do you see it?
Thank you very much for that question. And at the outset, I totally resonate your views on this. And but also for people who are in this room, we need to be very careful when we make statements about livestock production systems and the climate change and its negative impacts. Because this is one industry which is so very sensitive for the farmers, especially in the developing countries and also, of course, in the developed world, giving livelihood to several million people. So these words need to be used very, very carefully. As far as, and there has always been a negative tenor to it, we are also aware that there have to be more adaptation strategies rather than talking just about mitigation effects. Now, I would like to start with animal health, and we all know animal health is proxy to better production, better productivity. And what are the strategies the countries have to adopt? I would like to bring forth one example and one policy shift in India, and of course, the discussion that was there in the first presentation itself by Mail, wherein where we are now focusing on breed improvement of the indigenous cattle. It's very, very important. And also what Neka just mentioned, talking about low maintenance, better productivity, better resistance to climate change, etc. We're already seeing results. While the productivity in the Holstein Friesian, the exotic animals, has reduced, the productivity amongst the indigenous cattle has improved substantially with work on breed and genetic improvement. So that is one very important policy initiative that we have taken. As far as the climate resilient farming systems are concerned, I would like to mention over here, there are two parts to it. First, of course, I'll speak on animal health and then I'll go on to the nutrition part. We also know that improved vaccination leads to augmented productivity. We need to now have tailor-made vaccination programs to address climate-induced, to mitigate against the climate-induced vector-borne diseases and zoonotic diseases. This is something which is very important, and I think there is a need for more research in this area. We also need to improve upon the resource use efficiency and better feeding practices, which will also reduce the waste. And as far as feeding is concerned, I would like to mention that since most of us come from the livestock sector is actually increasing in its stead in most of the developing countries at this point in time, we need to adopt geographical zone-wise feed fodder practices, see what is good, need to invest in climate resilient fodder crops with high protein content. There is so much of research that is needed in this particular area. And feeding strategies, and this is a work that will go forth only with constant capacity building with the communities. So our extension programs, our capacity building programs have to be very, very strong over here. Do you want me to answer on the nutrition part also over here?
Yes.
Okay. So we all know that better nutrition or good nutrition is key to production and productivity. Also, there is a human angle involved over here. If we adopt clean milking practices, clean production systems, our own bodies will be getting better quality of protein from the animal sources that we consume. It is something important for all of us to understand. And this will, of course, better feeding practices will also have a negative impact on the AMR and develop better immunity. I would also like to mention over here that in India we have the traditional Indian system of medicines. Very scientific research is going on over there, and we are now propagating the ethno-veterinary medicines. So this entire fear, and as everybody in the room does resonate, this fear of antimicrobials in the animal production systems, which ultimately enters the human system, can also be reduced substantially. It has been shown in several studies that good feeding practices improves the health of the cows, puberty at the right time, and also calving at an early age. In fact, in India, we're also seized with a problem. I don't know about other countries, but infertility amongst cows is also becoming a very big thing. And this is an area which we are trying to handle with better feeding practices, better nutrition. We need to also see that we now start talking about circular economy in a very concretized fashion in this sector, because if this is done, if these policies are put in place, this will also help in reducing the enteric methane emissions by about 10 to 15%, improve on the nitrogen use efficiency. And I would just like to mention one last point. Climate resilience also means better housing for the livestock. We have not been doing much work on that. We need to focus on this as well. And lastly, from the farmer's perspective, and this is something which may be a little off from what I have been asked to talk about, but from the farmer's perspective, it is very important to bring in index-based insurance products. On days when the production goes down, the farmer's incomes is in a way meted out by these insurance products. So this is something that we need to work upon, and with the help of, I see people from the World Bank, from FAO, to work upon this.
Thank you. Thank you.